My name is Lisa Andrus, and I stay at Rescue the Children with my daughter, Araya, who is 9 months old. Growing up, I had a pretty good childhood. I grew up in a Christian home. However, I did have dysfunction in my childhood starting at the age of 5, and I think that's where my life started having a downfall to it. When I was 18 years old, I jumped into a marriage, and I immediately started a family. I have 2 kids from that marriage who are now 22 and 24 years old. During that relationship, there was a lot of verbal and mental abuse. And I think because of that abuse, I continued in a down spiral with the next set of relationships I would get into. They were all toxic. 3 years ago, I was in a abusive relationship, and I got pregnant from that relationship, and I couldn't deal with the verbal abuse anymore, so I left. And unfortunately, it'll be 3 years in July, I lost the baby, a stillborn, at 7 months of pregnancy. I was so lost after that, and I didn't want to be by myself at home, so I started hanging out with the wrong crowd, and I started using a lot after that. So for the last 3 years, like I said, I used previous to that, but for the last 3 years, I became addicted to meth. I had a job at the time, so I felt like my life was together and I was a functioning addict, but in reality, I was losing everything right underneath my nose and didn't realize it. It came to the point where I was homeless for 2 years, and then once again, I became pregnant. I was living in denial, and I kind of kept relating my pregnancy to my stillborn. So I just kept saying, well, I'm probably not going to be able to have her anyways. So I use that as justification to continue using. The father of the baby, Araya, I met him living on the streets, and it was kind of like a relationship I got into to have somebody to protect over me while I was in the streets. Being homeless is by no means any fun, nor is it a comfortable place to be, especially being pregnant. He was a drug dealer, so we ended up living in a drug-infested house, and I started trying to quit doing meth, and he was a dealer, and it was always in my face. So I never fully quit. I finally left that situation, which left me back on the streets by myself, 7 months pregnant. Because of COVID, I was doing my own cleaning business, and everything started falling apart because I couldn't go into homes anymore. We used to stay at a park on the street. It was kind of like a dog park type grass area, and it had a pit in there. So we would go into farthest back, so the cops wouldn't kick us out of there, and just hope that you find a good group of people to stay near, There's times where we had to sleep in the back, in the garbage can corridors, where the bricks around them, just hiding behind there so you didn't get kicked out by the cops. There's times where I knew people who had like a car in their driveway, so I would sleep in the car, in the back seat, and it was crazy, and then if it rained, trying to find somewhere that was warm or dry, or finding a good friend that had a house, and hoping that they would let you crash out there, and then having to feel like you're a burden on somebody else, you know what I mean? And so now here I am at 7 months pregnant, like literally going into dumpsters to try to get recycles, and just scared what I was going to be able to provide for my daughter once I had her, and just not knowing. It was the scariest thing in the world. I remember there was nights where we would wait till certain fast food places got rid of their stuff they didn't use for the day so we could eat from that, I ended up going into labor early. My water broke. They took me to the hospital, and my drug use got exposed. They told me about West Care, and they told me about Rescue the Children, and I immediately became interested in Rescue the Children. Having the Lord in my life in my past, I knew that that's what I needed. I needed God back in my life, that He was the only way that I was going to get my life back together. I came here back in August 11th, 2020. My life has slowly been coming back together. My joy is getting restored, I see hope. For what I was so broken before, but now I see hope in my situation. I do see a way out. I gain a lot of tools here that I'll be able to use in the outside world to make myself productive and to raise my child up in a good environment and a healthy environment, and to stay away from all the drugs and all the negativity in my life, and just to have healthy relationships instead of toxic ones. And I'm very thankful for a place like Rescue the Children, where my life can be restored and I could do it with my daughter involved in my life and not have to be in the system. Because of supporters like you, my life and my daughter's life have been changed through Rescue the Children.